Today we're going to dive in a little bit to a free crypto cell plan, and we're going to break it down for you guys. You're going to want to check this one out. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. And let's get started today. I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. This is a great place for you guys to get out there and get your self-custody plan on. If you haven't already started your self-custody journey, this is a great spot. And of course, the thing about Tangem is this is a card, works with both your iOS phone or an Android phone, very easy to set up, works in conjunction with a very slick app. And the cool thing about Tangem also is it's very secure. So you guys can, of course, use our link down below in there. They're giving actually an additional discount on this. So use the link PBN down there for additional discounts and get started on your own self-custody journey. All right, so I want to talk about where Helium Mobile has been going. Obviously, everybody knows the big announcement was the free plan. We're going to be covering all that today with a special guest. I want to go to the first notification here or clip here that will give us an insight to just how big this is. Take a look.
There are over 500,000 square miles of the U.S. unreachable by any cell phone tower. T-Mobile partnered with Starlink to launch hundreds of satellites, creating the only space-based network. And because connection means everything, we're inviting anyone on any wireless carrier to experience it for free. If you can see the sky, you're connected.
Your phone will automatically connect to the satellites, and you'll see this symbol here. You'll even get a welcome notification where you can learn more. And that's it.
All right, so this was a Super Bowl ad that aired, of course, this weekend. And this was a big deal because it showcased, I think, a very unique scenario that is going on right now. And it's a space race, essentially, for what will be terrestrial mobile. And if you look at Starlink's website right here, you can kind of see just the coverage of what Starlink has. Those red dots there are like these land units. The rest of the course are all low Earth orbiting satellites. But the point being is that this is now going head-to-head with another company out there that's called AST, which is SpaceMobile. Now, they see the potential here of really going into kind of this next era of growth, which is 3.7 billion of non-subscribed cellular users out there. So there's a big market for this, both on the existing group of people that have all sorts of access right now to a lot of people, 3.7 billion right now, that do not. So a lot of opportunity here going forward. And I want to take a look quickly at this clip here, and you'll learn a little bit more about what AST Mobile is, SpaceMobile is. Take a look.
We successfully launched and unfolded our first 5 Bluebird satellites, the largest ever commercial communications arrays in low Earth orbit. Google and Verizon joined our mission. We also signed definitive commercial agreements with AT&T and Vodafone.
So by the end of 2025, we expect AST to have launched 17 satellites, 1 with the ISRO, 8 with SpaceX, and a further 8 with Blue Origin. Tantalizingly close to the 25 satellites needed to start generating revenue.
But 30% of the outstanding shares are shorted. What do you say to those shorts about the ability to make this discussion a reality?
Well, we think what we have is very highly differentiated technology and excellent partners that we've been able
like
to finance.
Like SpaceX that you're competing against.
Yes, exactly. So what we're doing is very different. Cellular broadband from space is very different from SOS or text. So.
All right, so that's the big difference there. Their CEO talking about that cellular broadband, meaning a phone just like you normally use it, versus what we're seeing with Starlink, which is going to be a SOS and/or text-based scenarios. If you look at the stock right now in ASTS, right there, up around almost $40. This was back in August of last year. It had been declining until around January, which then is when we started to see this take off right here. And of course, that could have been because of a lot of these birds that they're starting to get up in the air. And we wanted to dive in a little bit of what kind of plans and companies is this going to affect, because this space race is going to be significant for the mobile market. And one of the key mobile companies that are starting to make a play is Helium. And of course, Helium Mobile stats, you can kind of take a look here. We'll talk to Frank here in a second about which carriers are going in, but look at the daily transfer, daily users continuing to grow. Hotspots also, mobile signups, all this, of course, this little bump right there that you see is coming in from their free plan, which just got announced here. All right, so let's welcome Frank Mong, the COO over at Helium Mobile, into the show.
Oh, how are you? Thanks for having me again.
You bet. So we got to get into a lot of what's happening out there. First of all, when you look at the current status of what is going on within what you guys are doing, the free plan, we want to dive into all that good stuff. The market seems fairly large here. If you look at the total addressable market for new emerging markets, but also the existing markets, which do you feel is where you guys fit?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting comparison with the videos you showed earlier, T-Mobile and Starlink, and pretty amazing ability to give you connection via satellite when you're outside. I think Helium actually is in a fairly unique place where while these companies are continuing to build different ways to get to the internet, I would say it's still highly centralized and it's really owned by one entity or a couple of large entities. And our technology is really meant to leverage as many ways to connect to the internet as possible. And so if Starlink becomes a de facto standard on how people connect to the internet, I think a Helium Mobile approach or a Helium network approach where individuals can propagate that and share that indoors is still really right up our alley. We've figured out with our economic model how to incentivize individuals to continue to share their bandwidth. Think of it as like you have excess bandwidth that you're not using. Why not share it with others? And that technology and that incentive model, I think, works regardless of how the backbone, what we call backbone or the last mile, regardless of how you're connecting to the internet. The act of sharing is really what our economic model does.
So this doesn't, you don't think this either winner on this space race is good for Helium, or it appears to be. Is that kind of your position right now? It doesn't really matter who wins, and if we have multiple winners, Helium still wins.
I think it's great for Helium, and I think it's great for society in general to have different ways of connecting to the internet, whether it be at your cable provider, your cell provider, or a new provider that's via satellite. So I think all those options are great. I think the question becomes, what part of that does the individual own? Do you own the data? Right. Do you own the connectivity? Are you able to share, and are you able to monetize your sharing? That's, to me, the big question. I think Helium is the only company that's answering that.
All right, so Helium, of course, on the T-Mobile network. When you sign up for Helium, we'll get into the plans here in a second, but because of this partnership with Starlink, do I, by de facto service, do I have that SOS and text availability on a T-Mobile or on a Helium plan through T-Mobile?
Yeah, I'm not directly involved with that partnership at all, so I don't know the answers to that. But according to their website and their landing page, if you're applying to be in the beta program, it looks like any carrier phone plan works. So you don't have to be a T-Mobile customer or a Starlink customer. I think they're in quote unquote beta today, trying to test that out and scale it.
Interesting. All right, so it's probably all going to be based on the backhaul plans. All right, so let's get into the new plans themselves. So you've got a couple of new things this recently launched, which is the free plan, by far one of the most, I would say, groundbreaking things that we've seen in mobile. We have not seen this before in terms of free. This is a big deal. Now, granted, it's not just some measly, know-nothing plan. I mean, it's a fairly decent plan. You're giving away like 100 minutes and up to, 3 gigs of data. So definitely usable for some people who need it, who maybe are not, using a mobile device every day. But do you feel like this is the gateway for adoption for Helium, or what was the real strategy here, or just as a gimmick?
No, well, definitely not a gimmick. We've been in the market now for about a year with an unlimited plan. And our approach to that was really early tech adopters, crypto investors or crypto curious folks. Really, a lot of people, I would say, Paul, that watch your show. And what we want to do is expand the audience beyond that. So beyond the traditional Helium community, beyond the Solana community, beyond the crypto community. Yeah. And while we were doing a lot of surveys and talking to our customers, what we realized was that our original unlimited plan had the biggest impact and was the most helpful for folks that are very budget oriented. They're financially savvy, budget oriented, and they're either saving for something bigger in the future for their lives, or they're actually saving now and balancing their monthly expenses with everything going up. Like, I think cost of eggs are astronomical, gasoline prices are astronomical. So as inflation increases, tax increases, the fear of tariffs increase, we thought, what better way to approach that market of financial responsibility and budgeting with a free plan that's very usable. This isn't going to allow you to watch YouTube every single day, Paul. Someone can't stream your channel constantly 24/7 for a month. That's not going to work. However, if you just want a plan, right, with 3 gigs of data, and you need some texts and you're going to make some calls, and most of the time you're doing something else, this is perfect. And I think this is probably a great plan for really the majority of Americans today.
Well, you also have of the 3 plans, the 10 gigabyte plan, which is the Air plan. I'm just going to show you guys quickly here. This is the 0 plan. So you're talking about right now. What do we got here? Yeah, okay, so there it is. 100 minutes voice, 300 text, 3 gig. Then you go over to the Air plan. This is the one that I have found pretty effective, and this even went down, you know, because it was like 20 bucks. Now it's 15. And this one, of course, gives you 10 gigabyte of data and unlimited text and calls. So this is most likely going to be the more popular one. But for, I mean, come on, Frank, $15. This is a great plan compared to most carriers. So that in itself going forward, do you feel like the adoption, because I know that right now it's still, you kind of have to, you're still on a wait list. When are you guys going to open up the wait list? When does that happen?
Yeah, so we started with the wait list for a number of reasons. We want to launch quickly, and so not all of our features are all in place. And we'll talk a little bit more about the cloud points and the cloud store, how that's going to work. Like that's a great example where that module is not quite ready yet, but we didn't want to hold up the launch just because one part of it wasn't ready. The other piece is just simply there's a physical limitation of inventory that we have. Some phones and some folks still have this issue where they have to get a physical SIM. So there's a little physical chip that they plug into their phone so they can connect to cellular towers and so forth. Most of us with modern phones use eSIMs, but there still are phones with pSIMs. And so we've run out of pSIMs as an example. The overwhelming demand of this has been so high. We just couldn't figure out what the forecast there. And so there's a number of factors for us to keep it as a restricted launch. We launched invitation only, just so we can watch and manage supply chain, make sure we're there, and also give us time to actually plug in the cloud store module when that's ready. So for now, it is invite only. And as we test this over time, we're also looking at how popular is the free plan versus Air versus Infinity. Where do people really land, right? Is the free plan enough for them, or do they really need the $15 plan or the $30 plan? So we're looking at all of those factors right now. I can't give you a date on when the invite will go away, but Paul, I do have a great surprise for you. There is an invitation code for you, Paul. So if folks are watching you now use the invite code Paul, they're in.
Awesome.
And they can skip the wait list.
I like it. We've had a chance we actually got notified of that today, so thank you so much for doing that for the audience. And for those of you out there right now, we'll leave a link down below so you can get access to that. Frank, so talk to me about cloud, because this is something that we've tested this on legacy Helium Mobile devices that we have, and then the new mobile device with the new app update. And when I get into the new mobile update, we just added an Air account just last week. CloudPoint shows up, but no wallet shows up. But in the legacy app, the wallet is still there, earning Helium, now Helium tokens. But in the new Air account, I'm earning cloud points, which aren't necessarily available just yet. Are you going to make that a toggle to where people who come in the Air account that could say, yeah, I want cloud points or I want to earn Helium tokens and put it in my wallet? Would that be a possibility?
It is a possibility. It's not there today. The toggle that you mentioned between, do I want cloud points or do I want to earn crypto, essentially, or HNT in this case? Which do I prefer? It's not there today. So if you are what we call the $20 unlimited plan subscriber or the $5 unlimited plan subscriber, so if you've been with us for a year and a half, don't worry. You continue to earn crypto. You're going to earn HNT. We can talk more about HNT versus mobile and so forth. But you're going to earn crypto, and that's fine.
Can you move that account just like a normal, like if you're graduating from one phone to the other, you can still take that legacy plan over to the new phone?
Absolutely. So if you're a customer with us, whatever plan you're on, you can stay on that plan if you choose to do so.
Okay,
We're not
all
going to
right.
take it away from you. And that can just continue. If you're new to Helium Mobile and you have an invite code and you come in with us for the first time, you're only going to have access to cloud points, which
Okay.
allow you to, earn like gift cards and so forth eventually
Right.
when the store opens. But there is no toggle today, Paul. Again, our focus is to really go and connect and engage with that budget-oriented buyer, the finance buyer, for the person that's trying to like really figure out their finances and get ahead in life. That's the person we're trying to target. And we don't know if that person likes crypto or understands crypto, but with cloud points, you don't have to. And that's really the point. Now,
Yeah.
if we find that the crypto space expands greatly and everyone wants crypto or understands it, certainly I think we got to consider the toggle button, which you talked about. We might even
You
just
gotta
call
make it
toggle.
available.
It's great.
We got to make it available. Toggle in and out of cloud to crypto, cloud to crypto. There's the marketing
Paul,
campaign right there.
I want your viewers to comment toggle. If you want
There
to
you
see
go.
an option,
Toggle.
comment toggle now.
We're going to drive it. We're going to drive this one home because I need.
Hey, Paul, do
I
it.
wanna-
Tag me. Toggle. Yeah, let's go.
I like it. Get the toggle T-shirt. Let's talk
That's right.
about one of the cool things about Helium that people kind of forget, and that is the potential for your device to now be kind of almost like a web mesh tool. This app right here, we were looking at this on a local shopping center. Most of these right here have Helium Mobile spots. And then when we went in and took a look at this was from one of the locations of what they were able to learn. This is the Fresh Dijon Wolverine right there in Florida, down in Miami. And look at this craziness. This is the data that they were transferring. Right there's the tokens that they've earned in Helium. And then you can kind of see the total tokens earned there right now in mobile. So, I mean, this is a pretty significant amount of tokens for anybody that's out there using, one of these hotspots. And if you haven't seen this Helium hotspot, this is another fantastic product out of Helium that makes your business or your home as well a hotspot for your local community. You earn points and all that good stuff. This is a big deal. So why not? First of all, is this going to be available on the mobile? Will the mobile devices at some point be able to be a hotspot and be utilized within the network?
Yeah, right. So the phone plan allows your phone to be a hotspot for other devices.
Right.
There is a limit of amount of data that you can use and transfer. I don't recall the exact limit because you can find that online. Now, can you earn crypto or points for sharing that? The answer is no for now.
Okay.
And I kind of like where you're going with this because it does make sense to turn everything that you can into a sharing device, a hotspot where you can earn crypto. So I do like that thought. I don't know if that's something we will do in the future, but I'll definitely put that on the list of features, Paul, to consider. And we'll call it maybe the Paul Barron feature if we do it.
Okay. All right. So let's go to a clip here. This is a good one. It's about T-Mobile and HNT, Helium. Take a look at this.
And the better that my network becomes and the better that your network becomes, then again, the better the experience is for everybody. And that, again, is creating value. So we look forward to, seeing your subscriber base get bigger, which is my subscriber base at the same time, and everybody's benefiting from it. So maybe that leads T-Mobile down a different path of innovation at some other point in time where we actually incorporate blockchain into how we do business. We don't run or own or use the blockchain the same way that Helium does, obviously. So, but we're interested in that. It's fun. It's interesting. If I could go convince, my CFO to expand my budget and let me go buy a ton of some currency and stake it and generate a bunch of incremental revenue, that would be amazing. Like that would be my own personal goal for the year. But again, it's a little bit harder making those kinds of decisions in an environment that has this risk of volatility. And, to get to the value to where people are either being paid or paying, right? So there's the transaction stuff there. It has to become a lot easier to use.
Yeah, and that's very true.
A lot easier to use.
My question to you, Frank, is the HNT token, Helium token, or the mobile token, because now you've flipped over to where you're earning HNT instead of mobile. What does that mean for the crypto market for those tokens, and should we be concerned more about Helium versus mobile? What's your play on this?
Sure.
Now?
So HNT Helium Network Token really has always been the de facto token that is transacting underneath all transactions of data that's flowing through the sharing network, whether it's IoT or whether it's mobile. The sharing effect has always been the HNT token in that protocol that we use, which is powered by Solana. Now, what's mobile then? Mobile was a token that was specific for cellular use, and IoT token was specific for IoT use. All that not me or our company, Helium Mobile, the community voted to really just squash that and combine it to just HNT. No more like mobile or IoT. Just keep it simple as crypto grows, so that others that are coming brand new into this, watching you, Paul, and say, "Oh wow, I never knew about this. Cool. What should I go research?" Well, no, you don't have to research 3 tokens. You just go research HNT. So that's simplification. Now, what happens to mobile or IoT? Where do those tokens go? They stay. Those tokens are around. They don't go anywhere. They don't disappear. You as a holder can swap them using the wallets provided by Helium. There's a Helium wallet you can use, and you can just swap them if you want to, turn the mobile into HNT, turn the IoT into HNT. You can certainly do that. There's a treasury there that's there to make that happen. There's a fixed amount, a ratio. I don't remember the numbers here, but you can do that if you want. They're also traded. So if they're traded on exchanges, they will continue to be traded. And what does that mean? Well, that means mobile IoT become, I would consider it speculatory tokens or meme coins.
Right.
If you want to trade them, you can. No one's telling you to do so or not to do so, but it's completely up to the individual. And so what's behind mobile tokens today, as an example? Really nothing. It's like, it would be like dog with hat or, bonk, a meme coin.
Well, when will the cloud store actually open to where all of those brands potentially can start getting those gift cards?
Yeah, it's going to be soon, Paul. I would say within the next few weeks, the cloud store should be open. So I'm not quite sure, because we've got a couple of other features launching prior to that that I think are really important. So I would say between 3 to 6 weeks, there's going to be a number of releases that happen, and we'll make sure we notify you and your team and your audience.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, that'll be good. I think it'll be a good update we'll make sure and notify everybody out there. Why not open up the opportunity, especially with these legacy devices, of being able to do airdrops and things like that into the Helium wallets for marketing purposes? I could think, imagine if Trump wanted to pay your cell bill, for this month and dropped, Trump tokens in there. I mean, those are just craziness out there, but the opportunity there is real. Anything like that on the horizon as we see more of that. Degen Rewards.
Yeah. Well, I think with regards to other tokens airdropping into a Helium wallet, as an example, I think that is possible. If I recall, I looked at my Helium wallet and I saw some random airdrops. But again, we're not a wallet company, and you would see that happen quite a lot with like our partners at Phantom Wallets. If you have that, you'll see those airdrops occur. I think it's fun. I think it's an interesting way to sort of capture the imagination and help folks understand what crypto is all about. But it isn't the only thing. So I think beyond meme coins, looking at Helium Network Token, it's truly a utility. It's very useful. We use it to transact. We use it for data flowing in and out of the internet. And I think ultimately in the long run, that utility is what drives value. And I continue to believe that for us, at least at Helium and Helium Mobile, that's our approach to the market.
Any plan, Frank, to get into like a third-party dApp store? I mean, we're starting to see this in the wallet side. Some of the hardware devices are kind of going this direction, but we haven't necessarily seen anything in the service plan side. And you've got a lot of platforms out there, Nadix, of course, coming online with their spatial. You've got HiveMapper, others that have tools that are being used by these mobile devices. that could maybe open up into a third-party dApp store, and all you'd need is just a small partnership link, and you'd be live.
Yeah, I think right now a lot of those areas are potential future roadmap items for us. But I think the number one thing we want to make sure we do is provide amazing service first and foremost. Extremely reliable, uninterrupted service to the internet for all of our customers. That's number one. And number two, we really want to make that user experience, like when you need more data or if you want to go international, you want to upgrade, everything in the app has to be buttery, super simple, not complicated. And so right now, our job is to reduce complexity. Our job is to make sure that you enjoy working with your cell provider. It's someone that you appreciate and you highly rate them versus overly complex and just not sure where your data is going, right? Our concern is keeping your data super private. The location that we collect is for us to figure out where hotspots should go. We're not selling or monetizing data for users. Like those are the areas that we keep our eye on and focus on. And everything else to us is just could be cream on top or it could be just added complexity that we don't need. So we'll have to figure that out over time, depending on who our audience is.
All right. Listen, Frank, it's been great having you on. Thanks so much for coming in today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, you bet. All right, you guys, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, make sure and join in right now. It's a great place to get additional content from us. And did you know you can get into our own private Telegram group? We'll leave a link down to where you guys can get into that. I'm in there chatting around. Love to chat with you guys, so thanks for jumping in there. And of course, follow me out there on X, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.